Next on Worcester News tonight, damage left behind in central Massachusetts after 2 confirmed tornadoes hit parts of the county. Plus, a husband and wife charged with making crack cocaine in a car with their child inside. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Strong storms across central Massachusetts now confirmed by the National Weather Service as 2 tornadoes. Wind and rain ripping roofs off buildings and tearing down trees. The trail of damage stretching through several communities. The first tornado hitting Douglas, Uxbridge, and Northbridge, the second hitting Upton. Our Rosalind Flaherty joins us now with more on where the second tornado touched down. Rosalind?
Olivia, people woke up around 2:30 this morning to what they say sounded like a freight train, and now the National Weather Service is confirming it was a tornado with winds around 100 miles per hour. A tornado hits Upton early Thursday morning, leaving a path of destruction around Main Street.
The shades were blowing through the window and you heard this noise sound like a freight train.
Trees are uprooted and draped over houses. The roof torn off this 3-story building and tossed to the side. Roberto Souza was inside sleeping.
We went outside. We saw we don't have a roof.
Across the street, John Guilford's truck is crushed by trees. He says the storm came out of nowhere.
The truck is absolutely totaled and my insurance doesn't cover it, so I have no idea what I'm going to do.
The National Weather Service says the tornado in Upton stretched 1 mile with winds around 100 miles per hour.
Tornadoes actually are fairly common in southern New England in the summertime. We get about 3 per year on average.
After the initial shock of the damage wore off, residents are now trying to clean up the mess.
Got insurance people coming out and lots of people who are, around us, friends and family that are signing up to help us.
Now, fortunately, no one was injured during the tornadoes. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
And the first EF1 tornado hitting Douglas, Uxbridge, and Northbridge with winds at about 100 miles per hour. This storm's length was almost 4.5 miles long. In Northbridge, trees were uprooted in Pine Grove Cemetery. DPW crews were on scene throughout the day Thursday working to clean up the mess. Crews say Thursday's humidity made it even more difficult. In Douglas, residents are working to clean up the mess left behind from the early morning tornado. One resident saying he went into panic mode when he woke up to the sound of loud cracking trees. Rich Fenner looks at the damage left behind to his home.
All of a sudden, just a big whoosh, bang, and things started falling and cracking, and I couldn't find my way out of the bedroom. I tried to find a doorknob, and it's just like sheer panic.
The Douglas man says he woke up around 2:30 Thursday morning to what the National Weather Service is now calling an EF1 tornado.
What happened had to be over, and maybe it couldn't have been no more than 30 seconds, and everything was just done.
Carl Enos was driving home during the storm and says he didn't expect the strong wind gust. According to the National Weather Service, they reached 100 miles per hour.
The wind was just coming all different way. Like I said, I couldn't see anything, nothing. Just branches and trees, leaves hitting the car, and I'm surprised that none of my windows broke, actually, so.
He and his son came back out this morning to help clean up some of the damage.
I actually didn't know that anything would actually happen. I didn't know. I thought we were just supposed to get rain. It was crazy.
Residents say things could have been a lot worse, but still have a big mess to clean up.
We're just lucky that nothing, again, nobody got hurt. I mean, the houses could be fixed, the car could be fixed.
One of the scariest things I've ever been to.
And we'll have more on the tornadoes coming up in our local forecast in just a little bit. 2 suspects in court today accused of breaking into a Douglas house where a 15-year-old girl was home alone. Cassie Arsenault reports on how the brave teen managed to get those 2 suspects behind bars.
Morgan Doyle recalled the most terrifying minutes of her life.
He was knocking really hard. I wasn't sure if he was trying to break it.
Showing us step by step what she did when she realized 2 men were breaking into her home.
And then he was trying to pry it open.
And panicking wasn't one of them. She locked her door, called 911, calmly giving the dispatcher a play-by-play.
How old are you, ma'am?
15.
15? Anybody else in the house with you?
No, but I think he has something to break the door.
All right.
She kept her eyes on them from the front door to the back door, and minutes later, they got inside.
I heard footsteps down this hallway.
Morgan then hid under her bed.
It's a very small squeeze. I had to push everything aside and get in, but I was able to get there safely. He was looking through the tarp because of the renovations.
Then, as one of the men was just inches away, help arrived.
And I was relieved when I heard the cops say, like, put your hands up. I was like, okay, we're good.
The police put an end to the getaway plan thanks to Morgan's description of their car.
He saw the keys and he thought, you know what? I'll grab the keys. If they get back to the car, they're not going to be able to go anywhere. So it was a great move.
28-year-old Matthias Diamond and 60-year-old Joseph Walsh were quickly arrested. Both have a long criminal history. The police chief was amazed at Morgan's calm under pressure.
She did a heck of a job.
Her dad beaming with pride.
She's a tough cookie, and 95 pounds of it.
Morgan more concerned now about whether this could happen again.
What if this happens to someone else who doesn't know?
In Douglas, Cassie Arsenault, Worcester News Tonight.
A central Massachusetts couple is arrested in Sutton Tuesday on multiple drug-related charges. Police say Christopher and Jamie Cole were cooking crack cocaine while driving in their car. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with the details. Chandler?
Olivia, police say this couple has lengthy criminal records. They were initially stopped for traffic violations and plates not registered to their vehicle, but once pulled over, police found much more.
Kind of alarming.
Reaction in Sutton to drug arrests on Putnam Hill Road. Police arrested Christopher and Jamie Cole Tuesday night and say they were burning crack cocaine while driving their car. Their 3-year-old daughter in the back seat.
Especially having a child in the car, a little or 3-year-old child in the car. I mean, that's crazy.
Unfortunately, that's a lot of what happens today with all the drugs that are happening in the area.
Police say the car was swerving and the driver waving towards an officer. Once stopped, the Douglas couple got out of their seats, Christopher Cole hiding on the car floor.
Upon activating the blue lights, he observed a lot of movement inside the van.
Officers noticed a strong smell of propane in the car. They found multiple drugs, including cocaine, and a propane bottle connected to a portable burner. Sutton Police Chief Dennis Toll says the child's presence is unfortunate.
Much like anybody else's reaction, I'm not thrilled to see that, but you know, it's not surprisingly. We see that on a lot of occasions when people are drug dependent and they have children.
People in the area say the situation is sad and a result of a growing drug problem.
The drug problem is just, it's everywhere. And so it doesn't matter if you live in a suburban environment or an inner city, it's there.
Jamie Cole is being held on $500 cash bail, Christopher Cole on $10,000 cash bail. Their 3-year-old daughter was taken into DCF custody. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
The man accused of shooting and killing Yarmouth Police Sergeant Sean Gannon has been indicted on several charges, including murder. Sergeant Gannon was killed while trying to serve a warrant to Thomas Lanowich back in April. His K-9 officer Nero was also shot and seriously injured. Right now, Lanowich remains held without bail. A downtown building in Worcester is sold for almost $3 million. Frank Carroll sold the 5-story building on Main Street to developer Bo Minchetti of the Minchetti Group. Carroll owned the building for decades, operating Carroll Enterprises and the U.S. Presidential Museum. Minchetti owned several other downtown buildings. Carroll sold the property for $2.85 million. With election season just around the corner, clean energy advocates from across the state gathered in the city to discuss the next steps. Thursday, the Environmental Massachusetts Research and Policy Center revealed their agenda for 100% renewable energy. Our Brittany Schaefer was at today's event and has the details. Brittany?
Olivia, the agenda includes more than 30 policies. Their hope is the winner of this fall's governor election will put it into law.
Now is the time for Massachusetts to go big on clean energy.
Environmental leaders in Worcester Thursday unveil a new plan to reach 100% renewable energy in the state.
It's a bold plan to accelerate our progress toward a clean, renewable, healthy future here in Massachusetts. We've made so much progress on clean energy in the last few years, but there's a lot more we can do.
The Environmental Massachusetts Research and Policy Center developed the agenda. Director Ben Hellerstein says it contains more than 30 recommendations for renewable energy in places like transportation and the electric grid.
I think one of the most important things that we can do is to eliminate the caps on solar power. Right now, the utility companies have insisted on placing a cap on that program, And in more than 200 communities across the state, we've hit that cap. We should not be putting limits on clean energy.
A clean energy success story highlighted at the event was Worcester's Dismas house. The home helps former prisoners reconnect with society. It installed solar panels in 2014 and says they make a huge difference.
Our energy costs were through the roof. We took a $20,000 a year agency electric bill, and it's now a $2,000 net positive for our organization.
The Blackstone Valley Chamber of Commerce president says the agenda would help much more than the environment alone.
By increasing our RPS, even by 2 to 3 points, we can create between 10,000 and 43,000 jobs over the next 12 years.
The main goal is to reach 100% renewable energy by 2050.
Our state has a proud history of leadership, and certainly given everything that's going on at the national level today, the more that we can continue to lead the way forward for the nation, the better.
Hellerstein says Massachusetts is currently at 12% and hopes to get the state to 50% renewable energy by 2030. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.